Hi guys, it's just me, Rico from JustReikkoTV, and welcome back to my channel. So I have a few things that I want to go ahead and get planted today. Today I got my 2 white eggplants, and as you can see, this one is looking pretty sad and droopy. The dirt is like really dry, and I watered this stuff yesterday. So I got 2 white eggplants that I want to go ahead and get out in the dirt. These 2 roselle plants I want to go ahead and get planted as well, and then I want to start doing some companion planting. This right here is an herb called culantro, and I want to go ahead and get these culantros in the dirt as well. These are 3 different plants. I'm going to be planting them with some of my peppers. I also have some green beans. Sorry about that noise. I also have some green beans that I think that I want to get planted as well. I have 1 okra plant that has already germinated pretty well. I want to get it in one of the bags. And then there's another okra that that's germinated. It's not too big. It's still really small, but I want to go ahead and get that in the bag as well to see if we can kind of like force it to grow a little bit quicker. And we'll see. I still got some more okra seeds and other stuff like that growing. As far as the beans go, the beans, they usually like to say to direct sow that. I grew that in the house because I know I still got like birds and squirrels and stuff like that around, and I just don't want them digging up my stuff. So I started those indoors, but before the root system gets too complicated, I'm thinking about going ahead and pulling those out and getting those in the dirt right now as well. So we got a few things planned for today. So we're gonna start by planting these 2 eggplants, and then we'll go from there. All right, come on, let's go. Okay, so I got my 2 eggplants right here, and this garden bed right here that I'm growing the eggplants in is going to be a multi-vegetable bed. And my dwarf tomatoes are going to be in this bed as well. I have a ground cherry in this bed, and then I'm also gonna have some green beans, of course bush green beans, in this bed as well. So we're gonna have quite a few things growing on in this bed, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. I'm trying to, between today and tomorrow guys, I'm hoping that I can go ahead and get like everything planted out, because like I want to be able to like mulch everything. And also I'm going to try to see if I can talk my partner into installing this drip irrigation into at least the 2 raised garden beds, so that we can at least make sure on super hot days like this that at least these stuff are staying like hydrated, because I did not expect this at all. Like I did not expect the day to be like, well, you know what, let me not tell that story. I knew that it was going to be pretty hot today, so, but I didn't expect it to be so hot so quick, I guess you can say. They got some decent roots on this. They could be a little bit better, but it's not horrible, so I can't complain too much. It's pretty decent. So over the next few days, the temperature is going to be in like the mid to high 80s, and then the remainder of the week is going to drop down to like the 70s. So it's only going to be like super hot like this for a few days before it actually drops down to some like decent temperatures. But it's like that's my issue with the weather. It's like, where the heck is spring? Do we have to like change the dynamics of like a planting schedule and everything like that with the weather being like the way that it is, because it's been like this for a few years now. The same thing even happened like last year, which was like the whole reason I had like certain stuff that died out, because when I'm trying to stick to the traditional growing schedule and wait until our last frost date of like May 15th and things like that, it's like, okay, we wait until our last frost date, but then the last frost date goes from being cold to being summer. So it's like we skip the whole like spring process. So it's like, I think we just have to learn to really adapt to this new type of weather and just kind of like keep it moving, man, and make things work for the situation. That's the only thing that I could say as far as that goes, because it's been crazy. Like in the next 2 to 3 years, is there not gonna be like any spring? You know, and I can only speak for my zone. You know, I'm in zone 6B here in Pittsburgh. So I can only speak for my zone. I don't know what's going on in other zones, but I know that there have been quite a few people that's been talking about the issues that they've been having with the weather and things like that. So I know I'm not the only one going through this. And I don't like to complain about it. I like to be like more proactive and stuff like that, but man, when you don't know, it just complicates things just a little bit more. But I'm good at adapting, and I'm good at like making things work, stuff like that. So yeah. And if I got to put in the drip irrigation system myself, I will. I just work so much, and you know, but I guess you can find the time to do the things that you really want, so no excuses there. All right, so we got those eggplants planted in, and yeah, let's hope that they grow like really nice and big and robust. So I guess now let's move on to the roselles. All right, guys, so we're over here with the roselles, and I have them. They're gonna be growing basically in 2 10-gallon grow bags. And what I actually did is I put 2 bamboo stakes into the actual grow bags, because the roselle plant, it's growing long, and the stalk isn't as thick as it is on most of my other vegetables. So I just wanted to make sure that it would stay secure. So right here, I got some plant twist ties that I ordered last year. So I'm just gonna plant them in and then kind of like twist tie them to the stake, so they'll continue to grow nice and strong, and not having any winds or anything like that blow them off like crazy. So yeah, that is the goal for this right here. All right, and yeah, so in the next video, guys, I'm going to be planting out all of my flowers, and the flowers that we're going to be using for companion plants and things like that, because like I was saying earlier, I want to be able to like cover all of my beds and all of my bags in the mulch, so that at least when the days are like super duper hot, I'm not having to like extreme water. And I don't mind. Sometimes I get off of work at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's a good time for me to like really just come out here and just water the whole garden. But I would rather water everything that's already mulched. And for the most part, most of the stuff in my expanded garden area has been mulched, so it takes out some of the work for me. These roots are okay as well. Not as strong as I would like them to be, but still okay nonetheless. And I'm just gonna stick it in there. And then, oh shoot, what is this? Come on, man. I don't mind y'all around here, but leave me alone now. I don't know if it was a bee or what. So I'm gonna just move this bamboo stick just a little bit closer. And then we're gonna use the plant tie to tie it loosely to the stake, because we don't want it too tight, because of course we want to still give the plant its space and its room to grow. So yeah, so I'm gonna just do it like this. Is that good? Yeah, baby. That should be pretty good. Yeah, that looks good. That way it'll give it time to grow and everything like that. So yeah. So y'all, when I went, I guess because for the most part, I brought most of my plants out to the greenhouse weeks ago. Well, yeah, a couple of weeks ago after I built the greenhouse. But then I brought out my roselle to the greenhouse, but it was still pretty cold, so the leaves started like drooping and stuff like that, and crackling. So I was like, okay, let me bring it back inside. But then after the weather decided to warm up, I was like, okay, let me bring them back outside. But then as soon as I brought it out, I don't know if you guys can see like this leaf right here. It started to grow like this silver iridescent like film over it. So of course I went and I Googled what was going on with it, and it was saying that the extreme heat causes the plant to go into this type of phase where it's kind of like almost like a shell, or it's peeling or something like that. But they say it could have been several things, but I know it was basically the heat stress that I was causing it, since it happened and I placed it in the greenhouse, which greenhouses, the temperature would typically be higher than the normal outside temperature. So I know that that's what it was. So yeah. Trifecta plus in there. But outside of that, guys, I'm extremely excited about this growing season. Every year, you know, I just want to grow just a little bit more. I'm not telling you guys about my growth plan for like next season, but I'm already planning for next year and how I'm gonna grow so much more. Well, I'm gonna try to find a space to grow so much more. So that is the plan, that is the goal. But yeah, pretty exciting. Of course, I am really focused on this year right now, and just making sure that all of my fruits and vegetables are organic, making sure that all of them grow and that I have things to feed my family. The only thing is, some people in my household, they don't like to eat like too much like vegetables and stuff like that. Like my partner, he likes like corn and not a lot of green vegetables. So trying to introduce people to like new things and stuff like that, it's kind of like hard, but we're gonna get it done, because it's crazy out here, and we got to make sure that we're eating healthy and taking care of ourselves and things like that. So okay, so we got this zip tie, and we're just gonna wrap it around, still give it time to grow and to blossom, and we looking good, guys. Okay, so that is it for the roselle. We are done with that. And before I do the beans, I want to go ahead and get these culantro plants. I want to go ahead and companion plant them with my 3 of my peppers that are in the bag. So let's go ahead and do that next. All right, guys, so this is, hold on, a motorcycle's coming. Okay, so this is the culantro plant right here, and this is how it looks. So culantro is basically an herb, and it's an herb that's used in a lot of Caribbean dishes. Back in the days, my mom used to create this mixture that she used to put in like everything in rice and stuff like that. She called it sofrito. And the sofrito was like a green mixture. Like she used a lot of green stuff, which culantro is one of the things I never knew that she used, but she also used like cilantro and green onions and regular onions and garlic and pepper and just all kind of stuff she used to make to create what we call a sofrito. So she got really excited when she found out that I was actually going to be growing culantro, because now she can make me my own sofrito with stuff that's straight from my garden. So that's really, really exciting for me. Now I'm companion planting the culantro with these 3 pepper plants right here. They're good companion plants for peppers because the peppers kind of like give them some of the shade that they need and stuff like that. And plus, of course, they love the heat too, so which is something that the peppers love as well. So yeah, we're gonna be planting these together. All right. And let me just dig a little hole right here. And there's 3 plants in here, so I'm gonna basically have to pull them out and separate them. I should have looked up to see if they were okay, their roots were okay being moved, but I didn't see or hear anything about them having any issues. So this is one right here. We're just gonna place that right there. And then we're gonna place one right here. And then we're gonna place this one like right here. And of course, we got our Trifecta Plus. I'm just gonna put that in there. All right, guys, and there you have it. All of the culantro plants has been companion planted with the peppers. Super exciting. Let's move on to the next thing. I think I want to go ahead and plant one of this okra plant that I got, and I'm gonna wait till the other one get more true leaves before I actually get it planted. But yeah, let's go plant one of my okra plants. All right, guys, so this is going to be my Hill Country red okra. So yeah, I'm gonna be growing both of my okras in, are these 7 gallons? Yes, in 7-gallon grow bags. So listen, when I tell you I love me some fried okra, you know, I love some fried okra. And then my mom actually, sometimes my mom would cook like fish. And I don't know if you guys know, but I'm from the Caribbean, from the Virgin Islands. And so she used to have this dish that she would do like some boiled fish with like some onions. And then she made this side dish. It was called fungi. And at least that's what we called it. I don't know if different people call it different things, but we called it fungi. And she used to have like okra in it, and I think it was like cornmeal. I think the fungi is made from like a cornmeal or something like that, man. But it was so good. But since growing up, man, I've been preferring like fried okra. And don't judge me, guys, but the best fried okra comes from Church's Chicken. Go argue with somebody else. It come from Church's Chicken. When I tell you they got the best fried okra, I've tried it plenty other places and it just, Church's Chicken, guys. Church's Chicken. I would never eat the chicken from Church's Chicken, you know. Hey, no judgment to those who do, you know what I'm saying? I prefer like Popeyes and Bojangles and stuff like that. But they fried okra and they biscuits, man, what you talking about, man? Hey, yes sir, buddy. All right, and I think I planted this a little too deep. Let me put some more dirt back in here because it's still in this little container like thing right here. So I think I did plant it a little too, dig the hole a little too deep. Want to make sure. Okay. All right. Oh, nice roots on there. See, now this is what I'm talking about. These roots look really good. So mix that dirt up pretty good. And then I'm gonna just cover that in. Yeah, baby. You ready for a nice growing season? I don't think that's the center of the bag, but it's all right. It's gonna grow just the same anyways. That around there. Y'all hear that crow or something like that making that noise? I think it's a crow, I don't know. All right. Now I do have another okra that just germinated. When I first tried to germinate these okra plants, like only one, I think I planted like 6 seeds and only this one grew from this batch and then one grew from the other batch as well. I don't know what's going on with those seeds, but it germinated and I'm planting it and that's what counts. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do, and I think I might be taking a risk with this, but like I said, I got some green beans that I actually sowed indoors and they started to germinate, and a lot of them don't have like their true leaves or anything like that yet, excuse me, but they're saying that the root system on green beans do not like to be disturbed. So what I'm going to do is, before the roots grow to the point where I really have to disturb them, I'm gonna go ahead and grab them out of the little cells and put them in the ground and see if they'll continue to grow from there. So let's go ahead. What in the, I don't know what that was. So let's go ahead and get those green beans and we'll go ahead and get those planted. All right, guys, so these are the green beans right here. So I have 3 bush varieties right here. I have the Blue Lake bush bean, the tender green bush bean, and the Antigua bush bean. Now the Antigua, all of those germinated like really quick. So all of the cells have germinated. With the tender green, like you can see this one really germinated and these other two are just starting to pop up. But I think the Blue Lake bush bean has been the slowest to move, but it's just started popping up. And then of course I have the Blue Lake pole beans that I'm going to be putting on the other side. So like yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Antigua bush that's already germinated pretty decently, and I'm just gonna stick that like right in this hole right here. And as I told you guys before, they don't need a super bunch of like fertilizer and things like that, because they create like their own nitrogen. And this is actually good for this bed because this will give the bed some of the nitrogen that it needs. Let's lift this up and see how the roots look underneath. The roots look pretty decent underneath. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I think that we can do this without bothering the roots too much. So let me try to pull out this one. Oh, nice roots on there. So yeah, so this is the Antigua bush, and then we're just going to like stick that right up in there, trying not to kind of like interrupt the root system too much. That's perfect. And I'm going to be checking on these really closely the next few days. And of course I'm going to leave the extra seeds that are germinating, just to be sure that if something happens with these seeds, I could just drop some more down. And the thing about it is like bush beans and beans in general does not take that long to germinate and to start growing. So it wouldn't be a problem for me to just start some more. So this is the Antigua. Dang, hold on real quick guys, let me go get a marker with another little plant label, because I want to make sure that I keep everything labeled. I swear guys, every time I'm trying to find something that I be seeing around, it just don't seem like I can find it. Okay, so these are Antiguas bush bean. And when did I plant this? On the 12th, 5/12. So not that long ago. So it took just a few days to germinate. So that's the Antigua bush. And then we got the tender green. Tender green, bush bean, 5/12. And then we got the Blue Lake. Oh man, this is a recycled. I'm gonna just mark that off. Then we got Blue Lake bush bean, 5/12. If y'all hear that noise in the background, that's just my dogs playing. Okay, so the next is going to be the tender green, and I'm gonna use the one that's popped up the most. So this is the tender green that has popped up the most. So I'm gonna pull this one out, and this is the one that I'm actually going to sow into the garden bed. And we just really want to be careful. Guys, by the way, I make my own seed starting mix, and I simply use cocoa coir and perlite. Those two ingredients is all that I use for my seed starting mix. And as you guys can see, the roots are just starting to form. We don't want to like bother the roots too much, so we'll just put that. Hold on, let me put some more dirt in there so they'll have space to like move and grow and stuff. And then we'll just like cover that up just like that, not interrupting the root system too much, but just enough for it to continue to grow. Fingers crossed. And this was another bean that was in that same cell that had started to germinate, but that's okay. Now this last one, this Blue Lake bush bean, it's literally just popping up, so I gotta be like super careful with this one. I'm literally going to just lay it like, hold on, let me dig it out, because it's like the seed just, eek. I want to be careful because I don't want to, y'all, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing here. Okay, so I see the root systems down there, so I'm just gonna move that like right over there, and then I'm just going to leave that at the same level and let it continue to kind of like grow and like pop out. But of course I gotta make sure that I water these in pretty good, so I can make sure that the dirt stays nice and moist. Okay guys, so that is it for those green beans. Now we got the 2 pole beans. We want to go over to the expanded garden section, and yeah, we want to plant these right over there by the trellis. Now I am going to be succession sowing these, so if these two of the beans that I'm going to use, I'm going to put one on. I'm just gonna show you guys when I get over there. Let's go. All right, so right here we're in this first pot for the first green bean that we're gonna put, and of course we already have oregano growing in here. Oregano and beans are great companion plants for each other, so this is just perfect. So I'm gonna put the first bean in this pot. I'm gonna put it on the left side of the pole, and in the second pot, when I grow that other bean, I'm gonna put it on the right side of the pole, so that they're growing up on 2 sides, on separate sides. And in another week or 2, I'm gonna come back and put the other beans on kind of like the other sides of the trellis as well. And I'm hoping that'll work, and they'll grow and produce a whole bunch of beans that way. At least that's what I'm thinking in my head. Of course, if the succession planting like that doesn't work, or if the beans die and we got to start over, we just got to do what we got to do, but we'll make it work. So let's go ahead and try to pull out these 2. I'm gonna use, because I don't like how this other bean look. This other bean look brownish. So I'm actually going to use the 2 beans that are growing in this one cell right here. I don't know why I put 2 beans in one cell, but let me go ahead and, eek, this is so nerve-wracking. And their roots look good as well, and I don't want to like, I want to see if I can, okay, they separated really good without me really messing with the root system that much, but the root system looks good. So let me just dig a hole like right here by this pole, and then we'll just drop it like right in there, and then we'll cover that up. That's perfect. So that one is in there. And now let's go over to the other side, and we'll drop it on the opposite. We'll drop it on the pole on this side over there. Okay, so let's just dig a little hole like right here, right beside the trellis. And then we'll just put those like right in there, and then cover that up. And that is it, guys. Let's just hope for the best with that. All right. All right, guys. So I'm over here with my tomato plant. And what I think I want to do is, I thought the sage would be a good companion for the tomato, but after doing more research, I figured I'm gonna use something else for a companion plant for my tomatoes. I'm actually going to use different herbs. I'm going to use chives right over here in this grow bag with the tomato. And on the other indeterminate tomato plant I got over there, I'm actually going to be using some basil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out this sage, and I'm gonna leave the sage in a pot by itself, and then I'm gonna put the 2 sage plants in what I'm gonna be calling herb row. In about a week, I'll be creating a section for the herbs that are not companion planted. And so, yeah, and that's where I'm gonna put the sage. So let me get some tools and we'll make the switch from the sage to the chives over on this side. All right, so just gonna use this tool, and I'm just gonna dig out where the sage is, and it's still in the little sage, in the little root ball. So I'm just gonna pop it into this, like right here. Yep, that's perfect. Let me see, did I put some fertilizer in here prior? Doesn't look like it, so I'm gonna add some fertilizer. Okay, some fertilizer in there. And then we're gonna mix it in. Can you guys see? Let me bring this down some so you guys can see. Yeah. Mixing the fertilizer really quick. And then I'm gonna pop this out. Pop out the chives. And guys, most everything that I grow in my garden, I grow from seed. The herbs are gonna be the one things that I'm not growing from seed this season. Now, I do have a lavender plant that I actually started from seed, and it is thriving right now, so I'm excited about that. So I think right now that is going to be the only herb, oh yeah, besides basil, that I'm starting from seed. All right, so that's perfect. The chives has been planted in there. Let's go to the other side, to the other tomato plant, and then we'll plant the basil. The basil looks like really bad, so I'm about to like cut it down and stuff like that. And then once that's planted out, we'll go ahead and get you guys out of here. This was quite a long video, so yeah. All right, y'all see how bad this basil plant look? It's mostly dried out, but it's just also been like growing like really weird. So I'm gonna cut this plant down quite a bit and see if we can kind of like start it like fresh. And I don't know if I'm gonna mess it up by cutting it down so much. The basil on there smells really good. So yeah, so these leaves look pretty good on the plant. So of course I'm gonna have to cut these down because once I plant it, we don't want anything like really touching the ground. So let's go ahead and remove this sage. Remove that sage, and then stick some fertilizer in there. Then let's see how the roots on here look. The roots look good. The roots look pretty good on there. I don't know if you guys can see that good, but they got some good roots, so that's a good thing. And I'm gonna just stick it in right there. I'm gonna put some dirt around it. Once I get it watered and stuff like that, these leaves should perk right back up. But I want to take the leaves that are looking like they're too close to the ground. Yeah, baby. Hold on, let me actually turn that this way. Yeah. That looks good. That looks good, guys. Looks like that might be it for today. Whew. All right, guys. So this was quite a video today. We got quite a lot done. This is actually going to be one of the longest videos that I've posted, but I mentioned this before, but I'm gonna mention it again. I'm really trying to get everything planted in so I can make sure that I start mulching everything, because when the weather starts to really heat up, man, I just want to make sure that my plants are protected, even though I'm going to make sure that I stick to watering and all of that good stuff. But I just want to make sure that they have that second layer of protection on them. So that is it for today, guys. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and also hitting that notification bell so you'll know every single time I'm gonna drop a video. It's just me, Rico, from JustReikkoTV. And until the next time, fam, peace.